Hey guys, what is up? It is Andrew, and today we are back with another video, continuing our Twisted Bow versus the OSRS Bosses series, and today we're going to be trying out the Twisted Bow versus the Giant Mole. Definitely one of the older bosses in RuneScape. It's such an old boss that you can actually just pray melee, and it can't damage you. Definitely something you would not see in a boss today, such simple mechanics. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons to kill this boss actually still. It's very good money, and you're going to see why. And there's also a pet drop, which is 1 in 3,000. You guys may remember that I've had some luck recently with the 1 in 3,000 boss pets. I got the Prince Black Dragon semi-recently. That was my last pet. Wasn't particularly lucky with it, though. It took 2,740 kills, so that was quite a grind. And also Thermi, which you see right there, which I actually was pretty lucky with from memory. But yeah, so the Giant Mole could be a very good boss to kill, especially with the Twisted Bow. It has a magic level of 200, even though it doesn't have magic attacks, but I assume the design for that was because they wanted it to be kind of immune to magic attacks. But that has the side effect of making the Twisted Bow very good versus it, because the Twisted Bow hits higher and more accurate on opponents with higher magic levels. So we're going to be seeing how that comes into effect. But before we do that, we really want to do the Falador Hard Diary. And there's two reasons for this. One is that you get the Falador Shield 3, which has a tracker for the mole. Whenever she digs, you can find her much easier, and also the skins and like hides, or claws rather, from the mole, which are the main source of money because they can be eventually made into sour brews, will be noted, so you can actually stay there for a very long time without having to constantly bank the inventories. So yeah, let's go get the full Prospector set, which is a requirement for the Falador Diary, and let's finish off that diary, because I don't have it done. So the Motherlode Mining adventure was actually not as bad as I had predicted. It is actually pretty AFK. I've heard people describe Motherlode Mine as being like semi-AFK, or not really AFK, but it is pretty AFK. I do have a couple things on OS Buddy that makes it a little bit easier. You see the mining overlays on all the ore veins, and also the notification sounds I get whenever the spot changes, which is pretty frequently, but sometimes you could be mining the same vein for quite a while. And even though I got 73 mining in the process of doing this, I don't have the upstairs area unlocked, because obviously I just wanted to get the set as soon as possible, and you have to pay dirt for the upstairs area, so that'll be something to do in the future. I do want to get 80 mining at some point, maybe even soon, for the Wilderness Elite Diary, for multiple reasons. So yeah, definitely not a bad mini game to play, I guess you could say. I do think mining overall is just way too slow XP, no matter what method you're doing. If I was to be king of this game, I would just double the XP for skills like runecrafting, mining, agility, and all that, but I know that would piss a lot of people off. But maybe not as many people as we would think. But the only thing that really bothered me is I got very unlucky with the pay dirt. You can get a random amount from like 0 to 5, and it takes like maybe 10 minutes to fill up the like cart 3 times. And I would always seem to get like either 1 or 0 or maybe 2, when you can get up to 5, but I would just almost never get 5 gold nuggets, actually, it's called. But yeah, overall, nice set to get. No bonuses, obviously, but you do get the 2.5% boost to your mining XP, which is very nice, and that will actually add up significantly over time, like if I ever go for 99, which I will probably do here because it is pretty AFK. But yeah, now that that's done, we can go finish the diary. So I believe all I actually had to do with the Prospector set was just enter the mining guild wearing it, or something along those lines. And there's other things to do, of course. I think this little rune crafting thing might have been the last thing to do. And you get the nice little message that it's all done, and you can go claim your rewards. So the diaries are always worth doing because you get so many perks of doing them, and you also get these XP lamps, which are definitely worth it for things like rune crafting, agility, even mining, because they're a lot of XP actually. There's almost like 1 million XP up for grabs just for doing all the diaries, so that's very nice as well. And of course he upgraded my Falador shield, so we have that for the mole. And there's a little trick people don't know. You can actually very quickly get a full inventory of the diary rewards. Look at this, I'm just like holding down 1 and space here, and I'm getting a full inventory of this stuff. I can bring back like 25 of them or so to the bank, and have like an infinite amount. I guess it doesn't really matter for this shield in particular, because you're not really going to PK with it. I guess you could, but the stats aren't particularly great. But the thing is, you might as well do this for things like the Wilderness Sword, or the Lumbridge Ring, or the Artie Cloak, because you do actually want to bring those things into the Wilderness, and you will be losing them quite often. So you might as well just get this full inventory here instead of like paying the Purdue NPC for multiple more of them. It's very nice to get a full inventory of them very quickly here. So here's the gear that we'll be using, as you guys saw a little bit of earlier. Of course, the Twisted Bow and full Armadillo for the accuracy bonus. I don't think the Void Knight armor, even the elite one, would be worth it here because of the lower accuracy, and the Twisted Bow does have an issue with accuracy, so definitely would want to use armor here. And we could actually teleport right to the mole, or pretty much right to it, by using the Falador Garden teleport on the jewelry box or whatever ring or necklace that is from. So we can actually teleport right here, which is extremely nice. So originally when I was trying this cannon method, which you're going to see here. You can actually put the cannon in a very specific spot and then stand actually 1 square north of where I am now, and the mole will actually get stuck and be double hit by the cannon. And this is a really fast method to kill the mole potentially. You can get some laser fast kills with it. And then the Falador Shield 3, as you see on the mini-map, I have a flashing arrow for where the mole is actually going to dig to, and you could find her extremely easily. Back in the day, this was probably the worst part about killing the mole, like pre-EOC. Even when summoning was around, it was very frustrating to have to run around and look for her and, run to the northern part of the map and not be able to find her, and then, have to run to the south part, and you'd run out of run energy. There was no stamina pots back then, so it was extremely frustrating. But now it's so simple, you know exactly where she is. It's not overpowered because there are a lot of requirements to have this Falador Shield 3. It's not the hardest thing to get in the world, but it's also not something that anyone can just go and get, such as me, for example. But yeah, there are a couple problems with this method of the cannon. One is something actually good about the mole is she respawns very fast, so you actually won't be in position to set up for the double hit when she respawns if she digs at all, which typically she will dig, and you can actually find these other safe spots very easily, as you see here, pretty much anywhere around the cave. But the thing is, the giant mole has a 50% chance, or rather a 25% chance of burrowing every time you hit it when it's below half HP, and that doesn't matter if you hit a 0, if you hit 50, or whatnot, and the cannon can only max a 30, so the cannon actually makes it much more likely that she is going to dig. And I actually forgot staminas on my first trip here, but that's not going to be a problem in the future. So the problem with the cannon is it actually doesn't maybe speed up kills that much, because it's forcing the giant mole to dig way more often by constantly playing the odds of her digging. So in other words, like, every time she's below half HP, any hit splat is going to give her a chance of digging, and the cannon will hit a lot of zeros and it will hit a lot of low hits, whereas the Twisted Bow, you might only take 2 or 3 shots to kill her when she's half HP. So I actually don't think the cannon is worth it, because it's just constantly going to make her dig more often. It's going to make this less AFK, and while the potential kills, like the fastest possible kill you could get, is going to be a lot quicker, because there's always the chance that she just still won't dig. I actually don't think it's worth it, because she's going to dig a lot more often, and when she digs, it wastes the most time by far. So let's try it without the cannon now. So I did a lot of kills. As you see here, my kill count is a lot higher now with just the Twisted Bow by itself, and it is so nice. Look how high you hit on the mole. There's a 60 there, headshot, to finish it off. And as you see here, you get the mole skins and mole claws noted, so you can just leave those at the bottom of your inventory, so you can collect them more and more. Pretty much every one of those is worth a brew. They can be traded into the gardener on the surface. Look at that, 63. I think that might be the max with amethyst arrows. I'm not too sure, but I was fully range potted. You can make them into like bird nests and eventually brews, but you're better off just selling the skins and the claws into the GE for other people to do that. It's really not worth your time. But yeah, look at that, almost, sometimes she digs right next to you, so you can just continue the kill, and you will get these pretty fast kills. And like I said, you can just pray melee if the mole's ever near you, so it's really not too hard to kill it. Really, it's very relaxing. There's not really a big risk of death, and these kills are very fast. Sometimes she will dig a lot, like this was actually maybe a slower kill, but it's pretty relaxing overall. I mean, it's pretty mindless to go follow these arrows. There's not a lot of thought involved in this. There's no risk of death or really being crashed. And one thing I will say about the Twisted Bow as well is not only does it hit so high and accurate on the mole, and there's really one of its best drops, by the way, the U logs which is a little bonus, an extra like 35k for you to bring. You do actually have to do less running with the twisted bow compared to like using Darox, because like right here, for example, I don't have to run right up to the mole's face to hit it with the axe. I can, you know, go up to it and, you know, shoot it from far away, which actually saves a lot of time, because, you know, running up to it might take an extra few seconds, and that's just going to add up over time. And you can very often, I'm not sure, you know, I didn't quite get it here, but it's not every time, but a decent amount of the time you can actually kill the mole before she digs into the ground, which saves you a lot of time. And even when she does dig, sometimes you will still get these extremely fast kills like this, where because the twisted bow has such a great range of around maybe 10 squares, you can just get a lot of kills very quickly, and you could probably get around 70 kills per hour, which is very, very good considering every kill is worth around maybe 20k or so, or maybe a little bit more, because the prices tend to fluctuate a lot. One thing I want to mention as well is I have the Bone Crusher in my inventory, and this is actually very nice to bring just for keeping the floor clean, if you know what I mean. Basically, it means the bones that the giant mole drops will be converted into prayer experience, so when you're picking up the noted like claws and skins, you don't have to worry about like accidentally picking up the bones and whatnot. And because the mole spawns so fast, like it's only 10 seconds, it's definitely important to pick up the items pretty quickly, as you see here. By the way, it actually is kind of worth picking up the Amulet of Strength. That's like 3 or 4k. And you can also bring Alks, because the mole will drop a bunch of like items like Mithril and Adamant stuff, which is worth alking. It's not a lot of money, but you could do it if you just want to bring a rune pouch with alk runes. And just for the record, here's an example of a kill where the mole does not dig. Again, this doesn't happen every time, it doesn't happen most of the time, but it certainly happens way more often when you're using non-cannon or not using the cannon compared to using the cannon. Look how quick these kills are. It's just like, it just rips right through the mole and the mole's defenses. It's funny how such an old boss is worth killing with this new weapon, but it is really, really nice, and it's very AFK as well. You really don't have to pay too much attention. You're not at risk of dying or anything like that. And yeah, it's super relaxing to kill this boss with the twisted bow. So with the twisted bow and my gear setup and without the cannon, you could expect maybe around 70 kills per hour if you're paying close attention. And here's from 1 hour of paying very close attention, and I got around 1.7 mil, which is very good. I got pretty lucky with the U-logs and the half keys, but even if you are paying little attention, you could probably still expect around 1.5 mil per hour. I definitely love this boss now. It's super nice to kill with the twisted bow. And unfortunately, it doesn't have any big drops. Like there's no like big like 10 mil drop. Things like that always excite me about bossing, which the mole does not have. But of course, it does have the pet, which is 1 in 3,000, as I mentioned. So definitely a pet I'll be going for in the coming months, here and there, doing this whenever I really don't have anything else to do. Or maybe I'll grind it out for a few days. It really wouldn't take very long to get the mole pet. Although I did see a Reddit post maybe around a year ago where someone got it at around 20,000 kill count. But hey, even if that happened to me, I would make like billions in the process. So really not too bad at all, and I definitely love this boss now. And it's definitely worth doing the diary and killing with the twisted bow, or Darox if you don't have one. It's definitely very good as well. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. We're going to close out with a clip here of PKing at Scorpia with the Scorpia pet with me. I bet they were not expecting that. These guys want the Scorpia pet so bad, but it's actually coming to them in a different form. Actually, one of these guys says nice pet at some point, which I thought was really funny as I was killing him. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the next video on the Twisted Bow series. If you want to see the full Twisted Bow playlist, I'll put that in the end screen and also in the description if you want to check out the other videos with the Twisted Bow. Definitely one of the best items I've purchased in RuneScape. So many uses for this. Not a ton of uses, but I definitely want to try to exploit all of them, and this is one of them going into it. Again, I still have to do the diary for Dagonoth Kings, and also I should really learn the raids. I think it's almost time that I learn raids, because the Twisted Bow is very good in raids. And actually, in fact, the nerf that they did to the Twisted Bow a while ago, like when it first came out, did not apply to raids only. Like that's the only exception for the somewhat substantial nerf they put into the Twisted Bow, where it doesn't hit quite as high. But yeah, I hope you guys have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, although I'll most likely see you guys before New Year, whatever you guys celebrate. I am going to be uploading this video tomorrow on Christmas Eve, right when I wake up, because it's really late right now. My sleep schedule, being on break from school, is already really messed up, but that's not surprising. But yeah, if you guys like this video, you can join the AndrewAJT 62 clan chat. Clan chat's been doing well as always. Just a general hangout or events clan chat. Like the other day, we all went to Callisto. But yeah, if you just want to join there and hang out and talk, that's all good too. There's no requirements to join. We have low levels, we have high levels. All the sort are all welcome to join, so that'll be up on screen. And also like this video if you enjoyed. Always helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. Leave your thoughts in the comments, suggestions, feedback, whatever positive feedback, constructive criticism. I'm all ears for it. And yeah, also you can follow me on Twitter down below. I'll follow you back if you play OSRS. You can follow me on Twitch down below. We do want to get a boss mass in, hopefully during the break while I'm off for a month. So I was thinking maybe DKs. And also you can support us on Patreon if you really want, and you can join the Discord down below as well. So thanks guys, and I'll see you guys hopefully pretty soon.